what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy XIV reaction. Today we have Vamp Fatale's theme, Sinister. This one, of course, was requested by Crosslancer. Every single time it's Crosslancer for these, I swear to God, maybe one or two outliers, but it's always been Crosslancer. And I love hearing these because there's such an array of musical knowledge. Like, they're just everywhere. Every single time I get to one of these songs, I have to like put my expectations to the side because I'm not allowed to expect anything out of these because they're going to be something completely unexpected, something completely different musically. I never know, and that's why it's so exciting. So I guess without further ado, let's go! Okay, Bayonetta. I can tell you I was not expecting that. So far, the gothic energy is obvious. Ooh. K-pop demon vampires? Wait a minute. Okay. This is what I mean. I'm not allowed to expect anything. I would have never guessed this genre. Okay. Just plenty of attitude. That fits. I love how they're incorporating like the organ in here. It's not an instrument you ever expect to hear in this genre. The chanting, yes, but not an organ. That's rare. And a harpsichord. Really bringing in the gothic vibes with those. Getting a little more traditional. They are so good at just doing whatever the hell they need. That reflects the character so perfectly. This totally fits the character I'm seeing on screen. It's one-to-one perfection. You'll become a stain on this ring. Damn. If she threw all four of them, you would be a stain on the ring. That would be entirely unfair, though, from a game perspective. Her getting in the way of the camera is also vile, though. I'm loving the bass line. Absolute perfection on that. Just... I'm gonna start focusing on like the deeper layers of the song. You know, there's not too much extra under there that I wasn't already hearing. that's not a problem. It's just like, usually when I get these long ones, I'm able to listen through twice and hear more stuff, but they kept it pretty sparse. It's not too dense. And that's kind of normal for pop, you know? That doesn't really shock me. I'm loving like the pseudo rap part. That's really, again, just right on point. Well within expectations of this character and the genre. I love that chant right before the chorus too. Obey your queen! Here we go. Now we're just gonna get the outro. Rip Vampire Queen. Still vibing. All right, definitely things to talk about. Not as much for the depth, like I mentioned. They kept it pretty thin, but again, that's totally well within expectations. I'll say it again. I am not allowed to think anything going into these songs. They're always going to be something I never would have guessed. For this one, the whole like pop vampire queen aesthetic, fucking brilliant. I would have totally expected something more like metal or like goth music, you know, like that as a genre for this sort of a character. And they kind of did do that. They just blended it into the pop, which again fits the character. Once I saw like the personality coming through, I was like, oh yeah, that matches. She's definitely a little bit egocentric, definitely has that energy of just like Neil bitch. Like it fits, you know? And that's why they're so good at making songs for these characters in this. I love how much effort they put in every single time. It's always like, where the hell did that come from, you know? And I really do enjoy the production on this one. They really nailed that blend of pop and more traditional instruments, having the harpsichord and organ in there, just really making sure that they didn't forget to add a little bit of that gothic tone in there. Brilliant in general. Just having that present at all is a great call, but the way that they were introducing some of those in there, like having the harpsichord just kind of dancing around as more of like a synth replacement, what would be a synth in a normal pop song, having that instead, the organ kind of acting as like a pseudo bass pad for the rest of the song too, like not a bass line necessarily, they definitely had that like synth bass on the bottom, but it was acting as a support for that to keep the chords present while the bass was just kind of doing its thing way down below, and they were able to like really sync that bass synth because they had the organ in there keeping everything alive. It was really solid. That's how it always is for these songs. They're always really solid, and it's like, man, I want to be able to like talk about something that wasn't great, but I mean, it does exactly what it has to, and it nails that. I think the only thing I ever come back to is like maybe the worst part of these songs is probably their mix, because they're usually just a little too flat, I suppose. I want them to be larger. I want them to have more dynamic space to explore. But also, I'm sure that these are, one, just ripped versions of the songs, and the final mixes in reality might be more deep, because that's just how games compress music. They squish them a little bit to fit them on there, and that's just how the world works. But at the same time, I would love to hear these like fully expanded, and I don't know if they release these anywhere in any way, shape, or form. But I can hear that there's like a good mix in there, so I want to believe that it's just because it's compressed and flattened, and it just is losing a lot of that data that isn't really coming through in these uploads. So I'm not faulting them for something that is purely happenstance and basically an occupational hazard that they have no control over. It's just gonna happen, but it is the weakest part. Everything else is great. Like everything else is like 8+ on the scale. It's fantastic work. The emotion that they put in there, the people they get involved with, the general approach to how they reflect the characters' personalities in the songs is always top tier. And of course for this song, like I said, K-pop demon vampire hunters maybe, it's just there, it's the joke is there, but that's the approach they went for and they fucking nailed it. It's not exactly K-pop by any means either, it's just pop in general, but the whole character thing of it being a vampire and that having like a parallel to demons, it's just the joke is right there. You can't blame me, right? It's fucking great. They nail it every single time. I love how they do this. The lyrics tend to be the next weakest thing because they are just kind of there. They're fairly generic, but that's exactly what they need to be. I don't anticipate character themes to ever be super deep on the lyrical side. It's just going to be something that gets a general idea of a character across, and a lot of the time that ends up being through a very shallow lens, and that is totally chill. There are some times where they get really deep on the lyrics, but you never get the time to actually appreciate those because you can't hear them anyway, so it's like, what's the point in hiring the best of the best or putting in 100% of the effort, even if they are hiring the best of the best? Just throw in something a little bit generic. Nobody's really going to care, including me. Again, that's something I don't really give them any points knocked off for because I don't blame them for it. It's more of working to the result, because at the end of the day, it really isn't worth putting all of your effort into for a song that's just going to get swallowed up by gameplay. It just doesn't make sense. So again, not knocking any points off for that one, but those are probably the two worst things about these. The rest of it, the production, the chord structures that they use, all on point, but again, usually not too deep. That is exactly what it needs to be, and that's why they're so good every single time. But I think I'm done yapping about this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else from Final Fantasy, by all means, drop in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if, like Crosslancer did, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships and force me to listen to something. It doesn't matter what it is, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!